Hello, my name is Alyssa Morris and I am doing my strategy on Elkonin boxes specifically for tricky heart words. This activity is focusing on phonemic segmentation the way that Elkonin boxes typically do, but because we're focusing on tricky heart words, we will be identifying the regular part of the word and the irregular part of the word. The irregular part is considered our tricky heart part because that letter or that sound is not playing by the typical rules. For this activity, teachers and students need a whiteboard with Elkonin boxes on it. I've seen teachers use just printed out like photos of Elkonin boxes and then put them in a page protector for each student, and it works just the same. And then chips, the traditional Elkonin chips, and I made little hearts so we could identify the heart part of the word. For both of mine, I used cardstock, but I'm sure you could actually use real chips. I just don't have them. And then students also need a dry erase marker and an eraser for this activity. So for this activity, you would be doing it during small group while students are in centers. And I would start by having the students listen to me say the tricky heart word and just identify the different segments of that word or the different sounds that are being made in that word. So this could be for grades kindergarten all the way through second with the words advancing. I'm going to specifically use words that would be targeted towards kindergartners because they are very common words. They're going to encounter them in basically every piece of text that they read. So the first word that I'm going to use is the. I wouldn't show them how to spell it yet. I would just want them to separate it into the sounds. So the first one is th, and then I would then, show them how to spell the word. Hopefully they've already encountered this word before, which is T-H-E. I would ask them to separate that into the boxes. We know that the th sound is coming from the TH, and then the sound is coming from the E because that's all that's left. And I would ask them to identify which one is irregular by replacing the green chip with the heart chip. So it would be the E because it goes which is not usual for an E. So students would have to remember that the E in the is making the noise. Another example of this would be with the word said, because students will see that word a lot. And it also does not play by the rules. So I would start off by saying the word said and asking the students to put the chips in the boxes. It would start with using pure sounds. You would go s for the first section of the word, s, d. So it's being broken into 3 different sounds. And then I would ask them to identify which one is the tricky heart sound once they see how it's spelled. Said. S goes here. We know d is making the right noise, so that would go here. And then all that's left over is in the middle AI, which is going eh. It's making the short E sound. If I asked them to say which one was irregular and replace it with a chip, it would be AI, because AI, like I just said, is making the short E sound, which is irregular. So students would need to remember that this is not playing by the rules, so we just have to remember that when we see the word said, it goes d, s, d. This strategy aligns well with our course materials because not only did we talk about Elkonin boxes in class, but in our module, we also have information on literacy play during centers and the benefits of that, which is what this is doing. And then also, it specifically follows the steps that is lined out in our module materials for when we are teaching tricky heart words. So in our module, it tells us that we should start with focusing on the regular sounds that are being seen in the word before talking about the irregular sounds. And when we talk about which words are irregular, we should identify what sound it is making. So when we did we started by talking about the TH going th, and then the E going So was what we identified first. It was correct. It follows the rules. And then we marked the E as being irregular because it's saying So it specifically follows our course instructions.